All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Athens-Clarke County Board of Elections and Voter Registration regular meeting. Time is 4:30 p.m. The date is January 9th. We're at 120 West Doherty Street in Athens, Georgia. First item on the agenda is to adopt the agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt.
I so move.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we're gonna go a little slower because I'm playing secretary as well. So motion. Nobody laugh at me. And Hank, you,
Second.
okay? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next item on the agenda are the approval of minutes. It looks like we have one set of minutes in our packet. So if the board members would take a moment, review. And the floor is open to move to accept those minutes.
I so move.
Okay? We have a second.
I second.
All those in favor of adopting the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Look at this. All right. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Are there any members of the public wishing to make a comment? Okay, Ms. Elsner, give me one moment while I pull up the timer. You will have 3 minutes, starting.
I'm Jacqueline Elsner, 315 Caldwell Circle, Athens, Georgia. And I want to thank Miss Willa for applying to serve another term on our Board of Elections because the 5 people work so well together. Miss Willa is such a contribution, representing voters who are very important that they are represented. And also the amount of training y'all have received over these years is just huge. And I thought if anybody had to start from scratch today and try to be a functioning member of y'all's board, our board in 2024, that poor person would be overwhelmed with what they need to learn. So I want to thank Ms. Willa for choosing to ask to serve again. And I understand that our Clarke Board of Commissioners are the ones that she's a representative and appointed by. And the other thing, this isn't about our county board, but the State Board of Elections, the chair resigned and Governor Kemp appointed John Fervier on January 5th. At least that's when the Land Journal Constitution announced or had the press release. And Mr. Fervier has been appointed as the chair of our State Board of Elections, which is, you know, we have to conduct our elections according to the exact rules of the state board. But Mr. Fervier is an executive with Waffle House. And he's a risk management, security executive, oversees insurance risk management, workers' comp, and security. He was appointed by Governor Deal in 2012 to the Georgia Subsequent Injury Trust Fund. He now serves as chair, and that trust fund covers the cost of certain workers' comp claims. And I just thought, holy cow, this person has zero, doesn't even say he's ever served on a county board of election, that he's ever had any experience with Georgia election. So he's chair of our state election board, which is not within the purveyance of any county board of elections, but wow. I wish him a very sharp learning curve, that he's so smart. He just maybe his experience with security would, help with, I don't know. Anyway, I just thought I'd say it out loud. This gentleman is now the chair of our state election board. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other members of the public wish to make a comment? It appears as though there are none. Ms. Till just tried to step out to the restroom. She didn't leave the meeting. The next item on the agenda is the director's report, and the director is away on a business trip, so the floor is open to the staff in whichever order they wish to go.
Okay, I'll give you the director's report.
Okay.
Welcome board. The first thing that we're going to talk about is an update on the 2024 polling location changes project. Currently, the staff has been working really hard to get the street segments audited and updated. They are very close to being finished, and that project should be completed soon. Our new polling location cards, new precinct cards will be ordered on January 17th and sent out to all of the voters within the county, whether they're affected or not. Currently, we've identified that there are 4,357 voters that are affected by these changes, but that number will increase as more street segments are completed in Jarvis. Audra's going to give you some updates on things that she's working on, starting with senior community engagement.
Give me a minute so I can see. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna give an update on senior community engagement. And if you drop down, you'll cover ballot processing and my norm open record. So I'll just go ahead and cover mine. As far as the senior community engagement, first of the year, right after coming back, I mailed out 20+ letters to churches and some senior facilities, retirement facilities, offering to come out and do voter education on absentee ballot processing and like completing the application, making sure it's complete, correct, so we won't have to do any curves. Once they receive their ballot, talking about the proper way to complete their oath envelope before mailing it back. So I've sent that out, like I said, at 20+, and I'm just waiting to hear back from them and get them on our calendar. I have a 4-week window open of when I'll do it. And each session will probably last maybe like an hour, but just to get, especially our seniors, because I know they get so nervous about completing the applications or if they filled out the oath envelope correctly, and I help them not have to do a cure for their ballot. So this is a way of us offering to come out and educate them so that they'll get it from us, from the experts. Next is the UOCAVA ballot processing. The first day to mail out UOCAVA or transmit UOCAVA ballots would be Tuesday, January 23rd. And so far, we have received 4 UOCAVA applications. As of today, before I left the office, we received 4. And a total of regular absentee ballot apps, we've received 72 as of today. And open records requests for the last month, December of 2023, we had 4 open records requests.
So we'll go back to, every year we survey our polling locations to make sure that they're still within compliance for ADA and make sure that everything is still good. So those first set of surveys will be completed by the end of February. The area managers will go out and do that. And then again in July, they'll do the full assessment with about a 15-page document that we use to make sure that each site is ADA compliant. LNA is scheduled to begin on January 29th at 10 a.m. and will continue until we've completed. It's open to the public and will take place at our Lexington Road location, 2555 Lexington Road. And then Charlotte has on the director's update a discussion about advanced voting hours and locations, but you also have it on your new items on your agenda. So
We'll do it.
Okay. do that then?
Since it involves making a decision.
Okay. She would like you to know that she has submitted to finance our FY 25 budget that was submitted on December 18th. And there is an update on the Spanish translation project. We've identified sign vendors and are looking at placing our order for Spanish language, English language dual signs to go outside the precinct, and some of the ones that are the most important ones that are located on the inside. Ad Astra has created a portal for us, and Charlotte will begin working in that portal when she returns on the 16th to work with them on the documents that we're going to translate first. The next item is your board member planning meeting, which I think that she originally threw out the date of January 23rd at 5:30 for that, but she has a commitment on that night and wants to know if you would consider either the Wednesday, the 24th or Thursday, the 25th, starting at 5:30 PM for that meeting.
I can do neither of those 2 days.
Okay, can you only do the 23rd? Okay, I will let her know that it needs to be the 23rd.
Or we need to get it to February.
Well, that leads into, she also wanted to, well, first, let's talk about what you're gonna do at that meeting. That I think is probably gonna end up being on the 23rd. You're gonna discuss your roles and responsibilities, discuss if you want to update and change your mission statement and what that might be, that you want to, those changes might be. Your goals for 2024, and then she wants to discuss with you our department's strategic goals. And the reason that you really can't wait any longer than that week to do that particular meeting is then on the first week of February, she's proposing February 6th for your semi-annual retreat.
Oh, this is, okay.
Yeah. Also, the meeting at 5:30, when you do that one for your board member planning session, we'll provide dinner for you. So we want to throw out a date of February 6th for your semi-annual retreat. And that would be from 4:30 till 6:30. Organizational development will facilitate the event, and we'll have a theme planned for you. We're still tossing around ideas about what that might be. And if the date is acceptable to you, then we'll begin looking for a location for the event.
Is that what, for you guys?
6th,
February 6th, yeah.
so far, so good.
Yep.
I don't see anything.
Okay.
Okay,
And what time?
4:30 to 6:30.
It should be, I mean,
Yeah, that's.
anything after 4:30 is usually good for him.
Yeah, that's why we planned the 4:30. Okay, and Audra already did all of her pieces. and that's-
Location TBD?
Yep.
To be determined, yeah. As soon as we had a date, then we'll start calling around to find somewhere to meet. And any questions or comments?
We want to go over the activity report with.
Pam's gonna do that.
Any board members have any questions, comments?
That's so far.
All right.
Okay, hello board, happy new year. As you can see, we have a total of 82,107 voters. Of votes the last month, we had 81,859. We have 68,707 active registered voters, and then we have 13,400 inactive voters who have had any activity over the past 3 years. We had a total of cancellations of 93, which 83 are deceased and 10 were felon removals. And then past December, we had voter IDs with a total of 38. That was for the month of December. And for the year to date, we've had 389 total. And you have a form that all the board members can sign. It's for the calculation group.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the director's report?
Yeah, Quick clarification, the meeting on January 23rd, what is that about?
It's the planning meeting, the yearly planning meeting, and like, if you had a new member, it would be like to welcome the new member in.
Okay,
But you're just gonna discuss your roles and responsibilities, your mission statement, your goals for 2024.
those items. Okay.
Yeah, those
And-
items.
And then for the offsite, that will be entirely a different, the one on
The
February
retreat will
6th.
be an entirely different thing.
What's the location for the January?
We're gonna
Lexi.
do that in the training room.
All right. Moving on. Old business. First item is Emergency Operations Center for Elections. That was an item I put forward. We kicked it to January just to check in on it. Is there any update or
Oh,
info you can provide on that?
well, I can tell you that next week we have a security partners meeting planned that you've all been invited to, but I just ask that you don't have a quorum unless, because we're discussing security, it was mentioned to me that they might be able to attend and it not be a quorum.
I'm sorry, 3 members?
That the board could attend and you wouldn't have to call a meeting.
No,
Because
no,
it's-
anytime 3 or more of this body is anywhere, and they're discussing business that applies to elections, it is considered a meeting, and so having you all there present, even though I realize it's not this kind of meeting, would be a potential violation of the Open Meetings Act. Now, there are some exceptions, for instance, if God forbid, someone had died and you were going to the funeral, or there's a social event, things like that. But this type of training, because it's not a regional multi-jurisdictional training, does not fall within any of the exceptions. So we would advise that no more than 2 of you attend. Now, that said, it is perfectly within the bounds of the Open Meetings Act for 2 of you to attend part of it, or 1 to step out and 1 to go in. So you could certainly interchange so that everyone had the opportunity to extend part of it. But we can't have, I wouldn't advise you have more than 2 of you there.
I sent a meeting invite for that so that you guys can coordinate who you want to come.
Was any of you intending on being there?
I had asked.
I was intending on being there. Do you have strong feelings about?
No, so y'all go ahead and go then.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And
Yes.
Adam will be at work then anyway, so.
That particular meeting is to discuss security concerns for election purposes only. I mean, not to set up the EO.
Right.
It's called the EOC, right? Emergency.
Yeah,
Operations. Mainly because I think we need to have a separate meeting for that, because there's people included in this meeting that wouldn't have anything to do
Right.
with setting that up. But the idea has been floated to the police department. They feel like once we talk to fire and emergency management, that that's something that they could do, at least try out on a smaller scale than what Hall County does.
Right.
And we just have to decide what it is we want.
Do you have a meeting set up, initial?
No, I was gonna talk to you about that, about when that might be a good idea to do that.
I mean, if we want to try it out for March, we would probably want to do it sooner than later, but the initial idea was for November.
Because this is something brand new, I'm not expecting that we're gonna do anything until the November election, and we'll try it out then.
Okay. Do you just want to wait until March, or do you want to have a preliminary, ish?
I thought since we were all gonna be together at that meeting, and now that I know that you're coming,
Just
that
add it to the
we'll take
agenda.
a moment or two to talk about the
Got it.
scheduling for that.
Okay. And will the manager's office be at that meeting?
They've been invited.
Any other comments, questions on this item? All right. Next item on the agenda under new business is the election of board leadership for 2024. And there are 4 out of 5 of us here, but all board members received an email from Adam Shirley this morning, today, stating that he is happy to serve as secretary again. So I will make the motion to nominate Adam as secretary. And if we have a second, then we can take a vote on that.
We still need to go in order. Robert Rule, you know, for,
Do we chair, vice chair, secretary? I was gonna go in reverse.
Thinking that, I may be wrong, but I'm thinking that.
And if I could chime in, and of course I didn't bring my copy of Robert's Rule with me, but I'm pretty sure you actually don't have to have a second for nominating people for,
I feel like yeah,
I think we looked it up last time.
because you can take multiple nominations from the
Exactly.
floor and
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, it sort of almost requires a
Right.
mini vote if you require the second. So I
Yeah.
think anybody you can nominate yourself if you choose to. I don't think Robert's Rules of Order said anything about the order it has to go in, so I'm inclined to say that that's up to you as the chair or the body if you all have a strong preference, but I'll try to see if I can find anything on it real quick.
Anybody have a strong preference in order?
No.
Okay. All right, the nominations have been put forward for Adam Shirley to serve as the 2024 secretary. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Adam Shirley has been elected as our 2024 secretary.
I haven't been able to confirm that it doesn't require a second and there does not appear to be any guidance. Just whenever nominations are open for, I guess, a particular office.
Okay. So next, going in reverse order, then, the next office up for nomination is vice chair. Is there a nomination from the floor for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Lola. That's hard. I did it, you can do it.
Yes, and
I've never.
you coming back, I think that is special and absolutely for that reason.
Don't be putting that butt on that cake like that. A lot of responsibility, y'all, I mean. Okay, but you better not be absent at all.
Be absent in March.
Uh-uh,
It's my 40th birthday.
okay, I'll give you that break.
Yeah.
I'll give you that break, I'll give you that
Yeah,
break,
yeah.
okay?
Okay. All right, so,
I accept.
are there any further nominations? Hearing none, the nomination has been laid upon the floor to nominate Willa Fambro for vice chair. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations. And Ms. Till, were you the one that made the motion initially?
I had enough fun and I'm ready to let somebody else enjoy it. Have some fun.
Okay, the final office that is up for election is chair. So the floor is open to nominate someone for chair.
I nominate Rocky Raffle.
Okay, I accept. Are there any further nominations? All those in favor of nominating Rocky Raffle for chair, say aye. Any opposed? Quiet. Kidding. Just kidding. All right. That is done. I hope I took adequate notes for our secretary. But we may have to watch the YouTube video again. All right. Next item on the agenda is the advanced voting location for the presidential preference primary in March. And in your packet with lovely green highlighting is the proposal from the staff. Before I recognize the staff, do any board members have any initial comments? And then we'll just turn it over to the staff.
Okay, initial comment with regards to the advanced voting.
A comment, not a question.
No, go ahead.
Anybody else?
No, let's hear what they have to
All
say.
right. Chair recognizes the staff.
Okay, well, you all have a copy of the recommendations for the advanced voting in March the 12th, president preference. And so early voting will start on Monday, February the 19th, and it'll start out at the elections office. And the times have been recommended for 8 to 5 for those days. And with Saturday voting, the 24th would be 9 to 5. Then we'll have week 2, which will also be 8 to 5 again. And then we'll have another Saturday voting on March the 2nd from 9 to 5. And then that Sunday on the 3rd, we'll have voting, and we're recommending noon to 4. Then week 3, Monday, the week of the 4th, we'll do 8 to 5. And then ending on that 6th, on the Wednesdays, March the 6th, we'll do 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. on all the Wednesdays. And then the other locations, the Miriam Moore Community Center, the library, the Corporate Extension Office, the Tennis Center, and it's actually the Culture Center, not the Train Depot. They were all open on March the 2nd on that Saturday, with the hours starting at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then that week, like I say, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, they'll do 9 to 5, with Wednesdays being 9 to 7. These are the recommendations that Director Stokes has brought.
One question, the train depot, the culture centers where we moved
What would be
the election day precinct 2, right?
correct?
Everything.
Yeah, everything will go to.
We're done with the train depot.
We're done with the train depot.
I mean, this is satisfactory to me. This is staff's recommendation, but
Well,
anybody have?
I have a question
Mhm.
or comment also at the same time. For the Board of Election office, I would like to request that Wednesday, March 6th also be 9 to 7, because it makes the advertising very much simpler. And you have to go out and advertise, this is 9 to 7, 8 to 7.
Code section requires 8 o'clock.
Oh, it does?
It's the office hours.
Oh, okay. And then the second one was that Sunday of voting. Do we really need to be, do you all expecting people?
It's her recommendation because we kind of know what you guys like, so we just decided to present to you what you like.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but we have had very poor attendance in the past, and it takes just a lot of time and a lot of staff time. I don't feel we have to open it, but if that's what the majority of the board members want, that's fine.
Has Charlotte expressed her opinion that she thinks because this is the presidential election, that this will be a greater turnout? Is that one of the reasons why you've added the Sunday?
No, she added it because historically, that's what the board approves. Statistically, she sent some stats to me from previous elections for presidential preference primaries only,
Way back to like,
12. So you saw those? Did you? See
no, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think we have accurate data because it's in 2020, it was rolled into.
Right, so we can't really use the 2020 data because it was rolled into the
Right.
general election and it was postponed. So there was this heightened, even during COVID, this heightened excitement about gotta go vote. So the turnout then was quite different from what you normally see in a PPP. So in 2016 and 2012, the percentage was around 7.15% of the voters go out to vote during early voting during the PPP.
So what does that translate to in numbers?
I don't have a calculator in front
I
of me.
mean, we have what, 80,000 voters
And
or
5%?
75, 3,000 people?
That sounds about right.
Sounds about.
Smarter people than me? Is that about close enough-ish?
Yeah.
That's on the Sunday. 2016.
That
No, that's the
is
entire-
for the entire period.
But do you have any numbers for Sunday?
No, because we didn't do that in the past.
We didn't do that in the past. Climate is, you just
It's
can't
totally
compare
different.
it.
It's totally different.
I mean, that's like, yeah. But to Ann's point, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people interested in presidential primary.
Primaries.
Well, I agree on that, but I'm not sure they'll be interested to come out Sunday morning, but if that's what y'all feel, I guess we will do that.
It's from 12 to 4,
Yeah.
maybe after church.
I think that's why she chose 12 to 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our church was out at 11. Some people get out earlier than that. But most certainly 12 to 4, 4 hours. I would go along with 4 hours.
I would think typically what we've seen patterns in Athens voting, we wouldn't need that. But I think for the presidential election, I think this is going to be a really hot year. I really do.
I agree with that reasoning.
All right. Given that, then the floor is open to accept the recommendation as presented by the staff.
I so move, I recommend that we accept.
Okay,
A second.
okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Schedule is adopted as presented. All right. The final item of new business is reflection on 2024 Gabriel Conference, and the chair recognizes Mr. Kadir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was hoping our director would be here, but she's not here. I just wanted to say I want to thank her for allowing the board members to join. I think especially this year, we learned so much about security and how to prepare for things that in the past we wouldn't have even thought of. I thought it was very, very beneficial, that aspect of it. There were parts of it which were primarily meant for I think the office staff, for the clerks. But it's hard to register and go to a conference and say, okay, you can only go to these sessions and not go to this session. So that doesn't quite work out. But overall, I really appreciated the staff and the director too.
I think it's interesting to learn what Yuakawa and other people have to know, what they have to go through. I think that broadens our understanding as a board. If we've worked in one of these other specialized jobs, it may not mean as much, but I think as a board, it's really good that we know all of this. Or even if we're exposed to it, we don't know it.
Oh, absolutely. Except I do feel now going 4 years in a row, there is not a lot of changes in some of that, but it's good to know. And it's good to do the networking and seeing how other counties are dealing with. So I learned a little bit about the Spanish language from DeKalb County. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, and I'll add that it's, I believe somewhere in the code that the superintendent must receive training annually.
That's right.
So although some of it may not apply to us, like Ms. Till said, it's nice to know,
Yeah.
to be able to understand, because we're the ones interacting with the voters. And we can
Right.
we can explain a little bit. This is what happens and this is what they do and how they do it.
Mhm.
And call the office if you need more explanation, so, yeah. All right, any other comments, questions, concerns?
I have a question. I'm
Yes.
backing up just a little bit. When is this scheduled for the presidential primary, preference primary? When is it scheduled to be published to the public?
We'll get it up as soon as possible now that it's approved.
Are we gonna have some extra notices that Miriam Moore is the new polling place?
I don't have any information about that, Ms. Willa. If Charlotte's done that, I know that there's advertising for all of the new polling locations, but I don't know if there's anything additional.
As long as they in the numbers.
Yeah, I would support extra advertising. I don't know if, what's being done already, if the PIO office can assist in getting more messaging out. I feel like as a voter, taxpayer, my water bill comes with the newsletter and very rarely are elections things mentioned in there. So,
Yeah, I never thought about that.
yeah,
Well, I actually spoke about on that issue with Jeff Montgomery. And they have so many demands from so many departments to put in.
But I mean, do I really need to know about free tires at the
Yeah.
Charm
Yeah.
every other week?
Good.
Like, I mean,
Or
let's
why
be
you
real
all
here.
driven?
Yeah,
I love to bring my tires to Charm, but
yes,
also
Yeah.
people need to know where to vote. But,
yes.
Prioritize.
so,
They fit us in quite often, actually.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of, about drips and tires, but yeah. We'll move on. All right, next, item on the agenda are announcements and, our next regular meeting will be on the 13th of February at 4:30 at this location, 120 West Doherty Street. And then, help me out here. We have a special called meeting, which will be a board member planning meeting, January 23rd, 5:30 PM, Lexington Road. Because these two meetings occurred before the next one, yeah.
Semi-annual retreat.
Yeah, there will be another special called meeting, which will be the semi-annual retreat, February 6th, 4:30 PM, location to be determined.
And also you and Mr. will be attending security meeting.
Yep.
Next week.
Next Wednesday.
17th. Wednesday, hold on.
17th.
This Wednesday, the 17th at 10 a.m.
All right. And
That's
that,
at
in
the
the training room.
training room.
and there will not be a quorum, so it is not a public meeting. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
A second.
Okay, motion. And did you second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
You?
5:08.